Okay, guys, are you able to hear me? Hey everyone, are you able to hear me? आप अपने comments में लिख के बता सकते हो मुझे. I'm not able to see any of you speaking. कुछ can anyone give me some thumbs up or something so that I know that you guys can hear me? Okay, great. ठीक है. Biceps Gurukul. Okay, we have about 178 people, है ना? ठीक है. तो अपन ना we'll divide this entire session into about three broad parts. Okay. Okay, thanks, Reddy Pujita. I will try my best to keep most of this in English. Yeah. All right. Cool. Okay. We'll divide it into three parts. First would be pre-MBA, which is basically getting into a college. So, importance of profile, what kind of profile, what all people see in the profile before you get into an MBA college. That would be the first part. Second would be what kind of profiles, right? Or how do you build your profile during an MBA? आपको किस टाइप ऑफ स्ट्रीम पे कंसंट्रेट करना चाहिए या फिर what kind of roles should you be looking at basis your profile, and finally in terms of how would you essentially ensure that while your B school is ending, right, at the end of the B school, what kind of companies roles fit your profile, you know? So that is the kind of trajectory we'll continue with this time, you know? So everyone can see me and everyone can hear me, right? Give me one final thumbs up or yes, and then we can begin, right? तब तक आप अपने questions, you can post your questions as well on the screen. Right, so I'm looking at your comments as we speak. Uh, can you guys tell me if you can hear me now and if you can see me as well? Okay, Pratibha says she can hear me. Siddhi, Zainab. Okay, great. And start posting your questions, guys, right? Okay, so first one we have from Ram Prasad, 86, 87, 65. Can I get top B schools? Is that 10th, 12th, and graduation, Ram Prasad? What if no work ex? Okay, I will answer that question as well. Okay, got it. Okay. See, 86, 87, 65, right? So 65 is basically your graduation. Now understand this, okay? Whenever these top B schools try to filter candidates, now the first and foremost thing that is needed is essentially your score. If you're talking about the ABCs, Black Eye, basically Bangalore, Lucknow, Ahmedabad, Calcutta, Kozhikode, or Indore, right? All of these first check your score. If you have cleared their initial score cutoff, like let's say for ABC, it could be for general candidate 99.7 plus or 99.8 plus or 99.9 plus, right? If you have that, they check the number of candidates that fit in that profile. Now, let's say that if they only have 50 seats, but about 65 students have completed it, right? Then they need to filter out more and more people. And while they filter out more and more people, they look at what is your 10th, what is your 12th, and what's your graduation. And what they notice over there is excellence and consistency. So, for example, let's say you have got 110th and 112th, but in graduation you got 75. They see a lack of consistency across 10th, 12th, and graduation, right? Someone who has got, let's say, 95, 95, and 90 is better than someone who's got 100, 175 because consistency is key there and they have continuously scored above a particular threshold, right? So, in terms of your score, right, 85, 86, 75, one is that your graduation score is a little less, right? So, you don't have to worry about it. Concentrate on the exam. That is most important right now. You have a lot of time. We're still in January. Uh, Whoever is attempting this year, there's ample amount of time for you to get your scores high, right? So concentrate on that first. Okay. I'll move on to a few other questions that I can see. 877 BCom honors. What percentile should I secure to get black eye? Okay. 777 with 1.5 years from pharma. That's great. 76 overall. What B school? 887. Okay. Engineering, no work ex. Okay. 977. That's a good score. 36 work ex. OBC, NCL. ZTSS test, you have a very good chance. You need to score at least 90, 95 to secure your chances because candidates across categories are scoring very high of late, right? So aim at least 95 to convert, right? 877 VCOM, okay, I can. Guys, don't repeat the question. I'm going through all the questions, so it becomes a little difficult, right? Okay, most of the questions are 10th, 12th, right? So first I'll answer 10th, 12th. Uh, Okay, I have 2 year gap, no work. So I'll answer one scores of each category. Then I'll answer about work X, and I will also answer about extracurricular activity. And then I'll come to Udit Bansal's your question of why do you think MBA is important? Okay. See, uh, mostly all of you have seen, right? Whoever has converted ABC, 96-97% of those people would have scores in the range of 90, 90, 90, and that last 90 would be coming from a top engineering or top BSc or whichever stream they're in, right? Top college of that stream, right? That is because, see, generally people who are cracking CAT, more often than not, they have a consistent profile previously as well. So if your scores are in the range of 8.5 plus in all of these categories, right? 10th, 12th, and graduation, 8.5 plus, 8.5 plus, and 8.5 plus, then you have a significant chance of being in the top 1%, top 5% if your scores are good. Again, I continuously keep telling you this that the first important part of this entire exercise is getting your CAT score high, right? Even if during the time that I was preparing, a lot of people that I was preparing with had scores of around 80, 81, 82, 83, right? But in CAT, they got 99.9 plus. And a couple of them made it to Ahmedabad as well, Bangalore as well, and Calcutta as well, right? So, what is important is first and foremost is your CAT score. First, identify what is your CAT score going to be. Look at the mocks that you have been giving. See how consistent you are on those mocks, right? That is where iQuanta plays such a vital role, right? It tells you where you are in your career right now and how good you stand right now with the competition around. So first and foremost of this entire exercise is getting your CAT score right. Let's say you lock your CAT score at 98%. Let's say that's the best you could, right? Then then your profile comes into the picture. If your profile has been 8.5 plus throughout, then colleges like maybe slight chance in MDI. There is SP Gen where you can get a good profile based call. It could be IFT Delhi if you have given 98 plus percentile in IFT Delhi as well, right? So all of these colleges will open up, right? So when you're checking what kind of marks I need to get, if you limit yourself, then you will limit the colleges as well, right? If you are in case thinking about I want to be in ABC, then don't put a limit of what I will be able to get in CAT. Aim for 99.9 plus, right? What is the problem with that? And start working towards that. iQuanta has been giving a lot of strategies in terms of how to crack ABC, right? What is the exact strategy of cracking ABC? They have crash courses, they have full length courses, they have advisors, counselors, right? Ensure that you make use of that. In terms of a profile, whatever you have done in 10th, whatever you have done in 12th, and whatever you have done in graduation is sealed, right? You can't do anything about it. If tomorrow someone tells you that, Acha, your score, right, you'll never make it into Ahmedabad, will you stop working for it? Will you stop it completely? It doesn't make sense, right? Because you still have the CAT exam to give. What if you top CAT exam? And Bangalore calls top 10 CAT exam toppers, right? Irrespective of what your profile is. So make sure that you understand these small things that you need to ensure that every step that you're taking has some logic to it. So don't limit yourself. Right? Point one. Whatever is happening in 10th, 12th, and graduation is closed, sealed. Work towards what is remaining. Okay. What about FMS? Okay, great question. The FMS again is a college that would have cutoffs similar to Bangalore. or Ahmedabad, in fact, right? 99.9 plus for sure. And it looks at academics very stringently. In fact, from the experience that I've had coaching a few students and doing a bit of profile counseling, FMS has had people looking at maybe 9 plus across 10th and 12th. But in graduation, I've known people who had just 7.5 plus, but with CAT of 99.5 plus, they made it to FMS. So while their profile wasn't the strongest, their CAT score helped them get into FMS. I'll speak about work experience now, right? And then I will move on to the second part, which is basically what to do within an MBA college. I'm looking at a few other questions. Most of the questions are 10th, 12th, BA, LLB. So if your question is this, right? 10th, I got X, 12th, I got Y, graduation, I got Z, and I am general male, general female, OBC, ST, ST, anything, right? Then your answer is this. First, concentrate on your CAT score. What is that CAT score? Because you can't change what you got in 10th, you can't change what you got in 12th or in engineering. All I can tell you, or anyone else can tell you, is that you may have a chance. No one can definitely tell you that you will definitely not get it or you'll 100% get it. No one can. If someone has 95 plus in 10th, 12th, and graduation, does it mean that they'll get into Ahmedabad for sure? No, it's not. There are chances as good as anyone else in terms of what you get in CAT, right? So it depends on what your score in CAT is going to be. So concentrate on that for now, right? Let's get into work experience, right? People have this notion that if you have, very, if you have no work experience, then it's very difficult to get into top colleges. Or if you have no work experience, then placement in summers becomes difficult. Or if you have no work experience, then placement in finals becomes difficult. Okay, I'll break this myth for all of you, right? Throughout MBA, right, they always try to keep a healthy mix of all types of students, right? People with no work experience, people with some work experience, people with a lot of work experience, right? You would have seen colleges like ISB or SPGen, right? They have a very healthy mix of no work ex and work ex. Similarly, IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, all of them have given some weightage to work experience, no doubt. People get additional marks for it. But that does not mean that all seats are filled by people in work experience. That is not true because if you look at the hiring strategy of, let's say, firms in FMCG, right, they largely hire freshers. That is, you know, that is because they are looking for certain type of people who can be molded in such a way, right? Because with work experience, you come with a certain type of industry, you come with a certain type of learning. In fact, this year, if you notice placements that happened in top B schools, including ISP, what came out was a lot of companies did not experiment as much. They just came in, they looked at whatever your work experience was, and then they hired people with the same work experience and left. But FMCG, on the other hand, continue to look at fresh talent, continue to look at people who have had no work experience, right? And they continue to hire from them. So, irrespective of whether you have work experience or not, it will not 100% define whether you can get into a good school or not. But what will happen is people with work experience have a have a slight edge in terms of understanding the work, understanding the role that they're being offered, and also understanding what goes into getting into that. The reason is because see, folks with work experience would have seen corporate culture for about 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, right? They understand what kind of requirements are there in workplaces today. They understand the type of roles that exist in workplaces today. That being said, of course, 2 years in MBA is meant to train you in such a way that you will understand that work experience, how to tackle the question of I don't have work experience, why should I hire you, right? Those 2 years are basically a testing ground for people without work experience, how well they can expose themselves to corporate culture. You have internships, you have live projects, you have voluntary contributions to industry programs or industry projects, right? So all of these are areas where people without work experience have great opportunity to get in and showcase in their final placements that I have some expertise in terms of the corporate projects or in terms of the work experience that others have. Right? I read a few more questions. Does design background from the best reputed college of design in India help during interview? Ishan Ramanathan. That is an excellent question, by the way. Um, See, in most of these MBA schools right now, right, people are trying to look for diversification. So if you have design background from the best reputed college, you will definitely stand a chance to stay out of that line. You will definitely stand a chance to outshine others because in that line, largely people would be of the similar background, same scores, uh, but you will have a very different perspective to problem solving. You'll have a very different perspective to business problems, business solutioning, problem solving, etc. And that is what they're keen to understand. Okay, the point is that academics don't matter much if you're focused more on CAT rather than focusing on your past academics. Saurav Prakash, yeah, it does, of course, right? That's the point I'm trying to bring home. Whatever's happened in your past has happened. If you're going to go by the virtue of that itself, let's say if there are two schools of thought, right? A person who scored 95 plus in all the exams. Let's say he loses focus in CAT and says that I've got great academics. I've been the president of my, literary fest. I've been the convener of this fest. I've been the president of student council, etc. And I've got great scores. I will not worry about that. And that person gets up ending, let's say, 96 in that. Whereas another person who's got 80, 80, 85, way lesser than what this person had got, did not have great academics, but got 99.9 plus in CAT. Who has the highest chances of getting into ABC? Right? So think about it as whatever has happened. Now concentrate on what is in front of one year MBA worth doing. Pavish M. Rao. Uh, okay, so 1 year MBA, right? People generally think that 1 year MBA is too mashed up or it is too, crunched in terms of learning and you will not be able to enjoy MBA as much, you'll not be able to learn as much, right? I think one way to look at it critically is why do people get into an MBA college, right? It's because they want to change their stream. It's because they want to earn higher salaries. It's because of they want a different role, right? So all of these, why you want to do an MBA, right? Essentially culminate into when will your MBA get over, and then I'll see these results, right? I'll see a result of higher salary, a new role, a new designation, a new industry, etc. Right? A 1 year MBA gives you all of that 1 year earlier than anyone else, right? So you'll experience a new salary, a new designation, etc. 1 year before someone who's doing a 2 year program, right? That being said, you should also look at it financially. You should do that maths in your head in terms of where you are today, what is the salary you're earning, what is the amount you have to spend for that 1 year MBA, and 1 year down the line, what is your expected salary. You should see that math sits along. That whether you need 2 years for that ROI or you need 1 year for that ROI, and then take that decision accordingly. It depends on you completely, your custom requirements, right? So 1 year MBA, if you ask me generally, I wouldn't be able to answer whether it's a great thing or not, right? It depends on your profile, it depends on what you're learning right now, where you want to be, and what your circumstances right now. Okay, a lot of questions of 10th, 12th. I'm going to go past them now. Please tell me your profile when you're preparing for exam. What strategy did you follow? Okay, Siddharth. Great. Okay, so I'm sorry I did not even introduce myself. We started a little late, so I wanted to get right into it, right? But let me tell you. So my name is Praneet, and I'm currently working with Flipkart as a senior manager, second level. I'm currently handling design and strategy for the order to delivery experience in Flipkart, right? My profile, right, when I was preparing, I had experience of about 22 months in consulting at that point of time. And I had done my engineering about, I had a 8.6 GPA at that point of 8.7 GPA at that point of time. And I had been the convener of my fest. I had a position in the student council. I'd done a lot of extracurricular activities, literary and otherwise. And while writing the exam, my major concentration at that point of time, like all of you, was like, will I get in my what's my 10th, what's my 12th, will I get in at all? But then, in Rajit has been a great friend since a long time, right? And he helped me understand the importance of giving CAT at that point and understanding that what you score in a MBA exam is more important for your profile at that point of time, right? So I gave exams like CAT, I gave NMAT, and I gave SNAP, right? And at an overall level, the profile that I had and the marks score that I had, I decided to go ahead and pursue my MBA from NARSI Mumbai campus. I scored a 99.7 in MAT exam, and I went ahead and pursued my MBA from there. And post which I did management consulting again with KPMG for about 3 years, and as I mentioned, now I'm with Flipkart. Right? So that's been my journey and profile. Thanks for asking that. What was my preparation strategy? Okay, so that's a good question. See, while I also used to be anxious, like all of you, understanding what is my score, what will I do, how will I be able to, compete with folks from IITs, from NITs, from diverse backgrounds like BA, BCom, premier schools over there, right? But a few things that I learned in retrospect, right? One is the importance of essentially giving mocks. I cannot stress enough on how important giving mocks are, right? It shows you a mirror, it tells you where you are currently, it enables you to understand your strengths and weaknesses. So one thing that I used to follow while giving mocks essentially was after every exam, right? I had a list of all topics that are coming in CAT, right? And when I say all topics, what I mean is, like in quant, I'll write down permutations and combinations. I'll write down algebra. I'll write down, PNC, etc. All different topics, and then whatever number of questions that have come in from that topic in the mock, and how many I got correct. So contextually for that topic, what has been my score? So in PNC, let's say 4 questions came and I got 2 answers right. So my score in PNC is 50%, right? Absolute score is 50%. And I used to see where are my scores greater than 90% and where are my scores less than 60%, right? And then I used to revise my strategy after every exam in terms of where I need to concentrate more. What are the type of topics that I'm weak at consistently? And then I would check maybe after giving, let's say, 10 marks, I'll check overall what has been my score in each of those topics. From that, I've come to know that, okay, these are topics that I'm really strong at. So maybe I won't devote as much time solving this, and these are the topics that I'm really weak at, uh, where I will devote more time to. And there will be some set of topics where I have zero idea. That means continuously scoring zero in them. So there I need help. I need external guidance. I need some advice. I need some teaching. I need some external help. So then I would reach out to people who I knew, friends, colleagues, iQuanta, different institutes, etc., and understand or read some books and understand how to solve that. So that was generally my mock strategy. I used to spend a lot of time in terms of understanding my mocks. So if I'm giving a 3 hour mock at that point, I would spend 3 hours analyzing it. Right? That is critical. Second was, as I was mentioning, that asking help when needed. So generally in our preparation, we are so involved, we forget to ask for help. Right? We generally assume, okay, I'll go to Google, I'll find it out, I'll maybe check here and there. But for example, you have this cat prep iQuanta Facebook channel, right? It's such a huge community, about 4 lakh, 3.5 lakh people. Such a huge community. So utilize that, right? In terms of whether or not people understand the topics that are being covered, right? So I would say getting that external help is very important. And third is a mix of keeping your mental, hygiene and finding activities that help you release, stress in some way, right? It's very important that during the preparation of this exam, right, you are mentally strong, very strong, because it's a difficult exam. It's very difficult preparing it. People who have work ex are doing it alongside studies. I mean, alongside work. People who have no work ex and are still in college are doing it alongside college. Both of these are very challenging times. So it's very important that you give a lot of importance to your mental health at this point of time, right? And how you can do that is finding out maybe one activity or two activities that help you, distract yourself, help you peace yourself, keep yourself at peace, calm yourself down. It could be playing cricket, it could be, doing yoga, it could be just a walk outdoors, it could be a run outdoors, but find that. So these three things, right, would, I think, of course, over and above your academic strategy of what to do in bond, what to do in LRD, what to do in verbal, Apart from this, at an overall generic level, I think these three will, definitely help you out. Okay, let me see. Forgot my YMBA question. Uday Bansal, I'll come back to it. YMBA. Okay. I'd answered this briefly, but I'll touch upon it again. Uh, According to me, right, people generally do an MBA one just to earn more money. Right? Two, they genuinely want to network, increase their network, right, in terms of professional network. Three, they are interested in learning about topics like finance, learning about topics like marketing, strategy, communication. And four, they either want to change their industry or change their role. According to me, these are largely four reasons. So, a lawyer doing an MBA is largely because they want to move from their field of law and come into the field of management, right? Someone in the IT industry is generally trying to do an MBA either because they don't want to be a developer anymore or they want to move into a managerial position, right, and earn more money. So, these, according to me, are largely reasons that why people do an MBA. But what I would suggest, right, whenever I'm counseling students, what I generally tell them is it's important to understand why is it important for you. Look at your current circumstances. Where are you in life right now? Are you happy doing what you're doing? Will an MBA change anything in your life? And if yes, will you be happy doing whatever that change thing is? Right? These three, four questions, if you're able to answer honestly, you'll understand whether an MBA is meant for you or not. I know a lot of friends from my batch, right, who did not do an MBA, did not get into that rut of everyone doing engineering and then MBA and then doing a managerial job. They were passionate about developing, they were passionate about coding, they were passionate about whatever they were doing at that point of time, right? And they felt that an MBA will not change much in their lives. An MBA will not really bring any change in their life in terms of new role that they need, a lot of money that they need. They were very content, satisfied, and they had other aspects in life. Some of them went ahead and did their masters in technology. They did their MTech, or they did their MSc, or they did masters in a technical field. And some of them just stuck on to their job itself, their current job itself, and then they grew in that current job. And all of them are doing well individually in their fields. So it's important to understand for you, will MBA make any sense? Will make any sense? What are you earning right now? Or do you want to earn more by changing your field? Will that make any difference? And after all this, will you be happy? That is very important to answer. If you are happy right now, if you're content right now, uh, think of it as, do you want a learning opportunity? And if the answer is yes, then yes, go ahead and do an MBA. But if you feel that you want to learn in your job itself, you want to learn aspects of your job better, then it's not necessary that you pursue an MBA. So that is not the only degree out there, right? You can always do it anytime. In fact, you can do an MBA, an exec MBA also later if it's just about the learning. So make sure you understand what is your reason to do an MBA. Importance of an MBA is, as I mentioned, right, either to improve your role, improve your salary, learn new things, improve your network, or finally change your industry. Right? These are the broad reasons why people do it. Okay, thanks. I hope that answers your question, Uday. Uh, Arjun, okay, got it. I have WorkX in my family business, but do not have any salary slips. So what do I do? Sujal Tibrewal. Sujal, see, let's say tomorrow someone tells you that I work in ABC company and you have to hire them in your family business. How do you check whether they work there or not? It would be either do with the help of an offer letter or with the help of salary slips, right? So it's essential that you have salary slips. Since it's your family business, I'm sure you can find a way to get those as well. Okay. Can I get into old IIMs without any experience? Ayush Bhalerao. Ayush, you can get into new IIMs also without, I mean, you can get into new or old IIMs without work experience. As I mentioned, right, work experience is one of the things, not the only thing. How to justify gaps, Shashwat Mondal. Okay. So Shashwat, gaps, you need to be honest about gaps, right? You need to frame an answer about gaps and should work with some counselor or some advisor who you're preparing with in terms of what should be the right answer. look at your profile and actually genuinely what was the reason for your gap. I want to understand that. Maybe I can help you frame that answer then. Ayush, I've answered your question. Okay, lot of questions on 10th, 12th. I have 2 year gap. Will work experience be mandatory? Then not really, Anshul. Again, tell me what was your 2 year gap for? We need to frame that answer well. You can always justify a year gap. It's life, right? People take gaps. It's okay. You don't need to, justify it with work experience only. Is it okay to attempt CAT after MTech? Yes, Mandal, no problem at all. I know in my college there were doctors who were attempting CAT, who were in college actually. There were lawyers who were doing MBA. There were a couple of CAs who were doing MBA. So there's no rule that MTech students cannot do. Sir, I'm in my final semester and I'll complete my engineering by the end of April. So will it be a gap year if I appear for CAT 2024? No, not at all. It will not be counted as a gap year. I have 8 years work experience with average 10th, 12th graduation. I scored 60s in 10th, but 60 plus in 12th with a gap, and engineering 68. Will it be good to get a good IM? I don't want to do exec MBA. Devashish Paul. Devashish, you have 8 years of work experience. I'm sure you're at a good position in your company. You're earning well. What is your reason to do a MBA? What are you motivated by? How are you thinking that MBA is going to change your life? Because see, currently, honestly, you have scores of 60, 60, and 68, right? Of course, there will be a lot of students who would have scored lower than this, but an equal amount maybe who have scored better than this, right? So your chances are highly dependent on your CAT score. But even after CAT score, 60, 60, and 68 will require great work experience and differentiated fields to explain, right? So have you thought through why you need an MBA even after 8 years of work experience? A lot of repeat questions. Okay. Uh, CAT 2023 didn't go well, so there is a gap here, Anshul. Okay. Okay. See, if CAT 2023 didn't go well, right? And you spent the entire year preparing for CAT itself, what you can do essentially, Anshul, is that you can maybe do some NGO course, right? You can get affiliated with an NGO for some social service. Try to improve your profile in that way, right? That will help you streamline your profile as well, right? Okay, I'll move on to my second bit, right? I think we've covered what it takes to get into college. Now we'll speak about after you have gotten into an MBA college, right? How do you choose the right field for you, and how do you ensure that you improve your profile after you have entered college, right? So, in terms of field, right, generally in colleges you have marketing, finance, IT, and maybe GenMan, right? Strategies there in some of these colleges, but mostly it's between marketing and finance and maybe IT as well. Now, how do you decide what you want to do? I'll give you a live example of my side, right? When I got into NMIMS Mumbai campus, right, I had a few seniors that I knew, and uh, there were a few folks who I had just spoken to in terms of what do I do. And my motivation was that I wanted to, of course, improve my salary and maybe go at a better designation, right? So these were my two reasons of getting in, right? Uh, when I got in, people told me that finance in you're in Mumbai, right? It's the finance capital, and you will get a lot of finance roles in Narsimhanji, and you should definitely graduate in finance. And all I thought about that time was getting a better salary, and I felt that okay, if finance is giving me a better salary, then I'll go ahead and do an MBA in finance, right? And once you get into an MBA, the first semester is the most difficult because that is one of the semesters or trimesters that essentially is helping you or navigate through chaos. It's completely ambiguous in nature. You've just come from whatever was your previous life, and you've gotten into this treadmill of sorts that's running at maybe 15 kilometers per hour, right? And you have no idea what is happening. There are assignments daily, there are lectures, There are guest presentations, there are exams, quizzes, preparation for summers, etc. A lot of things are going on at the same point of time, right? And you're expected to manage all of it. So while all of this was going on, of course, during my classes, I had decided that I'm going to learn finance, right? I'm going to, and I had no background of finance, by the way. I had no understanding of accounting. I had no understanding of financial management, treasury, none of it, right? So the first course that we had was called FAA, Financial Accounting, right? And I remember that I scored a B in that exam, right? And I remember studying for it, and I felt it was so difficult. It was something that never came to me naturally. I was not able to understand it. And then I spoke to my friends. Yeah, okay, I'm planning to do an MBA in finance, but I'm not able to clear their easiest paper in and getting an A or an A plus. Right? I'm not able to clear that with flying colors. And I kept speaking to a couple of friends and seniors, and then one senior told me, right, FA is the foundation. It is the foundation of accounting. It's the foundation of finance, right? If forget whatever marks you're getting, right? But if this is not bringing you happiness, if this is not coming naturally to you, and it is not something that excites you, then that is the career you're going to have for the rest of your life, right? For the next 40, 50 years, you're going to speak about this as a career. So, is this something you want to do? And that is the day that I decided that finance is not going to be my cup of tea. So, after about 1.5 months of being in college, I decided that this is not the stream that I want to do. But the best part, right, for all of you is that you can always decide. It's not a problem. It's not that whatever you decide on day one is locked for your life. So you can always change. And that's when I got interested in marketing. I saw that that's something that excites me. The strategy behind that marketing, what kind of things go into brand, what kind of things go into selling, and the consultative aspect of it as well, right? What are the problem statements that FMCG companies have, and how can I solve them, right? So that's what got me a little more interested in it, and that's how I ended up doing my MBA in marketing and strategy. Right? So, from this, all you need to take essentially is that first and foremost, make sure that whatever you're choosing is something you will like. Forget the marks that you get. That's secondary. You can always look at it later. But it should make you happy. It is something, keep in mind that you have to do that daily. So, is that something that you will like doing? Is that something that you will enjoy doing? If the answer is yes, then go ahead with it. Right? Choose that stream. But if the answer is no, I'm terrified of it, I'm just doing it because I'll get a better salary, then you might need to rethink because companies will see through agendas, right? Companies will see through fake interest and they will not accept candidates like that. Right? So that's how I think you should build your strategy in terms of choosing the stream for an MBA college. The second part was building your profile when you are in an MBA college for your summers and for your finals. See, summers generally happens about 3 to 4 months after you've gotten into college. So it's almost as good as no time. But the only thing that stands out in summers from a college perspective, it could be your first semester marks if your scores have come out. But it is definitely going to be the societies or the communities, extracurricular communities that you're involved in college. Now, why do they play an important role, right? It shows a couple of things. One is that definitely shows time management to any employer, any company that comes in. It shows that, okay, this person is able to score well despite being part of ABC communities. And while being part of ABC communities, the second thing that they check is what is the type of work that you're doing there? How are you, what are the qualities that you're building? Is it stakeholder management? Are you able to engage with different stakeholders well? Is it problem solving? Let's say that the funds of the college are over, but you still need to do some show. You still need to do some cultural activity. How are you able to creatively think out of the box in such situations? And finally, of course, it is integrity, right? How are you working as a professional in such communities, right? What are your ethics? How are you ensuring that whatever happens is righteous and is within the laws? So all of these helps, these employers to understand apart from whatever was your professional network in this college, how active are you? How ambitious are you? And what are the things that you're trying to drive? And this becomes a little important, I would say, for freshers, because see, as a fresher, your CV is quite light, right, in terms of what all is there in it. You generally talk about just your college and your activities in college. There's no work experience section, per se. So it becomes critical that you join communities. It becomes critical that you experience some sort of work engagement, right? In an MBA college. So that will help you differentiate yourself. So when you're trying to build your profile during college, one key aspect of it is these communities. Choose your community, choose the activities that you want to do wisely, right? Talk to your seniors, talk to people to understand what is the type of work that is done there, if that interests you, right? The second part is, of course, the famous case study competitions in an MBA college, right? There are a lot of competitions throughout the year. Things like HUL Lime, Premier League, ITC, Wholepal, all of these companies, right? They come up with brilliant PNG. They come up with brilliant competitions, case study competitions, right? Which is essentially a problem statement that is given to you, and you need to present your understanding of that problem statement and your solution to that problem statement. So, and not just in marketing, it's also there in finance, right? JP Morgan has one. A lot of other companies also have one. There are some Genman ones also, like for leadership, GE has it, Mahindra has it, right? So a lot of these competitions will happen throughout the year. I think it's critical that you expose yourself to all such competitions, right? Winning or losing is secondary, but what becomes extremely critical is how well are you preparing yourself for the outside world? Because these are real life problems that these companies come up with. They are essentially challenges that companies are facing today, and they want to understand what is your thinking, what are the next inline leaders thinking. Because all of these companies come to MBA colleges because they're trying to hire managers, right? People who have some managerial way of thinking, right? Even though they don't have such experience. So I would suggest that go into these difficult situations of managing a case study competition along with, let's say, your exams, your assignments, your lectures, your guest PPTs, etc. Right? That will help you condition your thinking, sharpen your thinking better. Right? Okay, let me go through a few questions now. Sir, I am only one NGO and a part of CDF India, and I've done internship with College Dunia, and I'm in second year. What improvement in my profile should I do for A, B, C, and FMS? Business in your mind. Okay. Your profile already seems very good. I think concentrate on your scores and concentrate on the CAT exam. Nothing else. No other advice for you. Guys, please don't post the same question again and again. It's sort of a spam right now, right? Okay, sir, I want to enter into investment banking. So, what are the skills and things and should focus on? Sujal to profile. Great question, Sujal. Investment banking again. Can I understand what's your profile? Why do you want to become an investment banker? And do you know what an investment banker does? Right, apart from earning great salaries, but do you know what they do? From where can we build? Can we inbuild case study skill in us? Akriti. So Akriti, if you go online, right, there are a lot of. So there's a book called Case in Point. You guys should read it. It's an excellent book which talks about how to approach cases. What is the format which you need to approach a case? What is the type of things that you need to think while you're approaching a case, right? So I would definitely recommend going through Case in Point. In the first stage of preparation, should we focus more on just building the basics or attempting more questions, April? Okay, good question, April. Should we focus on basics or attempting more questions? See, remember when I told you about my strategy of how do I read my mocks, right? I think what you should do is maybe first uh, give maybe 3, 4 mocks in the first week itself, right? Without maybe attempting any course, without looking at any material, without studying at all. Just if at the end of the day, CAT is supposed to be a maximum 12th level exam, right? So you're expected to know all answers, by the way. So give the exam. It's all logic, and it'll help you understand where you stand. So after the exam, right, analyze all those four mocks and divide it into different sections, like I was mentioning. It could be the different sections of quant, it could be the different sections of LRDI. Once you bifurcate these questions, assign yourself marks and see where you have scored well. Wherever, whichever categories, right, your contextual score is greater than 90%. Let's say in algebra, you're scoring greater than 90%. In sentence correction, you're scoring more than 90%. So these are areas where you should start doing advanced questions, where you should look at difficult questions from different sources. But the questions where you're scoring less than 50% or less than 60%, those are questions where you need practice. Those are questions where you need guidance. For them, stick to basics. Stick to first foundation in your basics, right? Making sure that it's foolproof. So that's how you should start in terms of the first few months of your CAT prep. Teaching in school and conducting offline tuition count for 2.5 years will count as work experience. So, Anisha, if you have offer letter and if you have pay slips, it will count as a work experience. I did masters in biotechnology, so in MBA, which field I can choose? Akriti. Okay, Akriti, if you've done your masters in biotech, then again here also it you can decide the field by yourself, right? So there's no allocation of field per se, right? What excites you better? Is it things like accounting? Is it things like matching balance sheets, invoices, understanding numbers better, or is it brands? Is it understanding marketing strategy, or is it about project management, program management in the IT industry, right? So these are things you have to decide for yourself what excites you more. There will be no justification asked from you. If a lawyer can do a marketing course and a doctor can do a financial course, then a biotech person can do whatever they want, right? So it's up to you what excites you more. What about JBMS? It's a great college, Minan Shah. What are you hinting towards? What do you want to ask about it? I'm not able to solve LRDI question. What to do? Anshul, I think iQuanta has excellent facilities available, right, and faculty available for LRDI. After this session, why don't you drop a ping on the CAT prep group? I'm sure someone from the iQuanta team will reach out to you with Sir, is HR a good stream? Do we earn good in HR? Yes, HR is an excellent stream, guys. So think of it, right? Do you know any company that does not have an HR, any established company without an HR? No, right? So HR is one person who can easily move from one company to another. Very, very simple exit roles. Very simple to switch from one company to the other. And yes, of course, they earn well. But you should have a passion for people. You should have a passion for employee engagement. You should have a passion for understanding retention, for understanding employee NPS, for understanding employee engagement, hiring, strategies for that, appraisals. It's not an easy job, just letting you know. It's a very difficult stream. And you need to be passionate for that stream, right? So, yes, you do earn great money, and it's a great stream. As I'm not answering questions that have my 10th is this, 12th is this. I think we've gone past that. So if you have any questions around what to do within an MBA college, how to improve profile within an MBA college, I'm happy to answer those, right? I'll look for 2, 3 more minutes. Family business experience or self startup experience worth it or compulsory job? As I mentioned, guys, for work experience, if you have an offer letter, joining letter basically, and salary slips, that's counted as work experience. What percentage do we require for JBMS? Mimansha, you should check the past few years and what has been their cutoff. That will help you understand better. How to get into consulting as a business analyst? Kumar Akash. Okay. As a business analyst, so consulting firms generally have um When you say business analyst, I hope you don't mean an analytics job, but a consulting job. Generally, consulting firms hire MBAs as consultants. People who have maybe 1 year, 2 years of relevant experience, they join consulting firms as consultants, which is maybe one or two designations above an analyst. So, if you have keen interest in consulting, right? Generally, a consulting interview starts by your background. It goes into what is called a guesstimate, right? For example, how many traffic lights are there in Bangalore? Could be a guesstimate question, right? So in that second round, and third round is a case where they would say, let's say, um, a financial broking firm has his their sales targets are getting steeper every year, but their actual sales numbers are declining every year. So how will you find out what is the problem and how will you improve it? Right? So these are some types of this is basically the format of a consulting interview, and these are some questions within those formats, right? So generally, if you don't have any work experience, consulting firms will take you as a business analyst. I'm a content writer for past 3 years and want to do an MBA in marketing. What skills should I focus on? Gunjan Arora. I think it's a great profile for a marketing MBA, Gunjan. I think I don't I don't know if you need to sharpen any skills per se. I think just concentrate on the CAT exam. I think being a content writer, you will understand brands, you'll understand marketing very well already. So your interview should be smooth. But just concentrate on getting the right score. Right. For profile building, should I do a certificate course from good institute like IIT or NIIM? Mala said, see, whatever you do, right, don't do random courses. Do something that is in line with your current profile. If you have, um, uh, interest in marketing, then do some marketing course. If you have interest in finance, you can do maybe an NISM, NCFM course, right? But do courses that are in line. It's not necessary, by the way. No college gives you extra marks for having done certifications prior to your MBA. But if you are keenly interested on learning something, then please go ahead and do the certification. So my profile is not very good. What courses or certifications can I do? Anurag, I think first concentrate on your CAT score, as I'm saying again. In terms of profile, right? Always a good option to maybe work with an NGO. It's always green. Do a certification that you're interested in a field that you're interested in. For example, as I was mentioning, an NISM or an NCFM course or CFA level one before an MBA. For marketing, generally, you can do a digital marketing course. Google AdWords has a course which could help you understand SEO and SEM tools better. But apart from that, it's not necessary to do any of these courses, not necessary to do any certification. But if you have not done anything in your college life as well, like no activities, no cultural activity, no sports, nothing at all, no literary clubs, and your score is also low, then it would make you need to essentially drive the interview somewhere, right? There has to be a conversation in the interview. So what you can do is essentially move it towards some field that you like, which could be the certification or it could be the NGO that you're part of. How important are extracurricular activities? They are a good to have after May. They're not a must have. But see, if you want to differentiate yourself, right? Because you see now that a lot of folks get 99.9 plus, 99.5 plus. People crack CAT with great marks, right? So when you want to differentiate yourself, that is when extracurricular activities comes into picture. It helps in a dialogue in the interview. It helps in ensuring that there is some sort of conversation, and it also helps in differentiating yourself. I don't have relieving letter of one of my previous companies. Would that be a problem? Harish, I would recommend that you get in touch with your employer and get the relieving letter because it is part of the submissions that a CAT school, an MBA school asks, right? But maybe you can have a dialogue with them and justify it. as long as you have pay slips and the offer letter. Okay, we have about 155 people. We are into the last 5 to 10 minutes of our discussion. If you have any burning questions that you have, I'm happy to answer them. I have 15 months of work ex. I'm focusing on CAT 24 and don't want to work and doing full-time trading. So I can use this as my gap reason. Yeah, absolutely, Pratiksha. You can absolutely use it as a gap reason because it's the truth, right? It's what you have actually done. So it is your gap reason, and it's a decently justified reason of doing a gap. But what they will want to understand from you is what all have you learned from doing trading. Does not matter whether you earned profit or not, but what did you learn in terms of any strategy that you developed? How did you get an interest in it? What made you so keen on doing trading? And why do you now want to do an MBA if you've been doing trading? How will an MBA help you either become a better trader, or why do you need an MBA at all? Right. So those are questions you should be preparing for. Do universities check with the salary slip for only the last 3 months? Generally, they ask salary slips of last 3 months itself, but they also ask for your joining letter, which should have your salary breakup for the entire year. Any commerce courses an engineer should do if he's apprising for finance? I think CFA level 1, level 2 are some courses that I'm aware of. Apart from that, there are NISM and NCFM courses as well that are available. You can check the websites. What skills are necessary to crack case study competition? How to sharpen those skills along with CAT preparation? Right. Okay, so for case study competition, right, the most important skill that they are looking at is problem solving, right? There will be a big problem statement in terms of very complex at a 36,000 feet. First, they expect you to break that problem statement down. They expect you to get into granular details of a problem statement. How do you uh, bifurcate small parts of that problem? And then for each problem, what is your customized approach? What are you thinking about it? And then finally, what is the solution? So in a case study competition, the interviewer is generally checking your thinking. So they don't want you to arrive at a answer directly. They want you to first speak out what you are thinking. What are your assumptions? So in a case study competition, first clarify the case. First ask questions about it, right? First, ensure that you have got all details about that case. And wherever you don't have details, voice out that this is what I'm assuming or this is what I'm thinking, right? To approach it further because I don't have clarity. Second is break the problem statement down into smaller parts. Look at different angles, right? Is it a financial angle? Is it a marketing angle? Is it an HR angle? Is it a people angle? Is it a technology angle? So break it into different pieces and then solve it from each of those pieces. So case study is just about logical thinking and reasoning, right? Basis your experience, how you will solve that problem is all they're looking at. The answer does not have to be right, because while solving a problem, at the end of the day, if you have solved the problem in some way or the other, that's great. But how viable it is, how executable it is something that needs to be looked at. Right? Both marketing and HR excite me a lot. I have worked in both fields and now I'm confused which one to choose for my MBA. April, the good thing is you don't have to decide now. You can get into the MBA college and then decide. It's not something that you need to finalize right now. If I do a MBA in finance, what can I read before joining the school to get up to speed during finance classes? Which stream works best with someone from the which best with someone from the IT? I didn't understand the second part, but what can you read? You can maybe start reading up foundations of accounting. I think that's going to be the first topic that they cover in MBA. Maybe if you want to get up to speed or faster in line, then you can start with that. Online degree are accepted in IIMs. Please reply. Online degrees of what, Nitish? I didn't understand. I have 997 profile, OBC, NCL. Is it suitable for good colleges? Yes, I mean, but you still need a good CAT score. Okay, Rajashri, please start the third part. Good. The last part that I wanted to discuss essentially was how do you prepare yourself for uh, the placements uh, after you've gotten into an MBA college, right? What we have discussed is first ensuring that you get a good CAT score so that you get into a good college. Then second is building yourself up in terms of what is the stream and what is this, I mean, what is the specialization and what are the activities that you need to undertake during your college life, right? And now finally all of this culminates into that final placement, right? Some of you would be destined to get a PPO during your summers itself, right? So whatever company you got interviewed and cracked at summers, you might get a PPO there, right? But for the larger majority who sit for the final placement, first is by the end of 2 years, you should have clarity on what companies they want to work. You should have a list of about 10 to 15 companies that you aspire to work at. And those 10 to 15 companies should be in line with your career objective, which means that these are the companies which do the kind of work that I want to be associated with. That is the first thing. You need to have this list, right? Second is that for these companies, start speaking to seniors who are working there, right? And understand the interview process from them. That's very critical. Generally, the interview process remains same throughout years, right? Helps you understand what type of things the company looks at. Third is knowing your CV, your resume in and out. You should be able to articulate every bit of your CV very well, right? You should be able to speak fluently about your CV, any nitty gritty. So, for example, in hobbies, if you have mentioned that I like to play cricket, the interviewer can always ask you details about that, right? You like to play cricket, okay? What do you do? Do you bat or bowl? Okay, if you bat, what are your stroke plays? What number do you play at? What has been your highest score? How do you tackle this type of bowling? How do you tackle that? It could be very simple. It could be very detailed, right? I'm just trying to tell you that everything in your CV you should know in and out. Now, this basically becomes your foundation, knowing the companies that you need to get at, what is the interview process, and what is your CV. Now comes preparing contextually for every company, right? If you're looking at um, marketing companies, then they will definitely want you to know a little bit about the marketing subjects that you have undertaken, right? It could be about the brand, it could be about marketing strategies, different types of 4Ps, 4Cs, etc., right? Similarly, if it is a consulting firm, there will be a case study competition. So you'll need to know about how to solve a case. You need to know guesstimates, right? And of course, before all of this comes your GD round, right? Before the personal interview round, there's a GD round. Um, all of this comes very later in stage in your current preparation for CAT, right? But I'm just giving you a gist of whatever you have done, right, in the last 2 years, it culminates into your final placement. So knowing which company and knowing your resume is extremely critical. So make sure that from now you start foundationing yourself in such a way that you are able to understand what excites you, what field excites you, what companies are in those fields, and what is in your resume. I mean, whatever you have written, you should be able to speak out very well about it. Right? In terms of preparing for the final interview, we'll have another course. I mean, we'll have another session for sure, which will be a little more closer to let's say when your CAT exam is approaching, because you'll have greater visibility and clarity about what you want to do in life. Right? We can cover that in depth over there as well. That was largely what I wanted to cover today. I hope you have understood three important parts today. One is the importance of CAT score because your 10th, 12th, and graduation are already done. The second is how to choose your stream and how to ensure that you participate during your 2 years or 1 year of college in terms of activities and case study competitions. And third is the importance of knowing which companies that you need to target and knowing your resume in and out, right? So this will help you build a great profile ahead. This will help you understand your own resume, your own profile very well, and definitely will make you a more confident person, right? I'll maybe pick up three, four more questions and then we can wrap it up for the day. Okay, a lot of repeat questions. How to get basic knowledge of all domains, HR, marketing, finance? Yash. Yash, I think honestly, I don't have an answer to it. I don't know how you can get basics of all, but generally, what happens is the first year of MBA, right, is a mix of all. So I had to learn finance, I had to learn marketing, and I had to learn some communication and HR courses in the first year itself. So if that is what you're talking about, then the MBA first year covers. Online BBA from Amity University online are accepted in IIMS. Yes, it is. Arpit, thank you, sir. It was an enlightening session. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Over 170 people joined it, so I'm hoping all of you to take back something from it. Right? Thank you. Any suggestions for GDPI? Okay. See, for GDPI, right? Generally, what I tell people is apart from your content, right, your demeanor also means a lot. It's important that some softer aspects like voice modulation, right, stressing on the right words, looking at everyone while you're doing the GDPR, right, addressing all the candidates. It shows respect for them. Sitting upright, right, speaking in the right tone. Tonality is important, and of course, content at the end of it. Generally, my strategy for GDPR used to be as soon as the topic was decided, there used to be 30 seconds that were given, right? People used to start writing a lot of things. But what I used to do was I used to only write one thing that I know about the topic. That's it, only one thing. And then after writing that one thing, I used to just think about what more can I think about that one line only. Because I generally am someone who would want to start the GDPR. So while people are busy writing about multiple things, they have a lot of thoughts in their mind. I have only one thought in my mind. And then as soon as the person says that your 30 seconds are up, I start immediately. So generally, 9 out of 10 times I start the GD and I start with that one thing that I know. And then for next 4 5 contestants, right, 4 5 participants, I keep my mouth shut. I listen. So as important as it is to speak, equally important is to listen, right? So when they're talking, I used to make notes. I used to look at them intuitively, and whatever they were saying, I should try to make points out of that. So that was my general GDPI strategy. Okay, last question for this day. I would like to know, is IIT Roorkee worth it for finance? I've heard that their finance domain is messed up and their faculty for finance is also not up to the mark. Can you guide? Ashish Garg, unfortunately, I do not have a lot of information about IIT Roorkee's finance faculty. If I do, you can always reach out to me and I will help you out. Okay, guys. So that was it. We are at 7:30. More than 170 students joined in. I'm glad that this was beneficial for all of you. In case you have any doubts, there's a great iQuanta portal available. Your teachers, your counselors, etc. iQuanta has been doing phenomenal for the last decade or so in terms of educating folks and getting them into the best premier colleges of India. Make sure that you enroll yourself, get the right guidance at the right point of time, and crack CAT. Right. So all the best and give it your best. Thank you.